Hi, I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Jeff Charles, Sarah Cowgill, Tim Donner, and Andrew Moran. And this is the Conservative Five, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, Jesse Ventura, Arnold Schwarzenegger all raised eyebrows of the political elite because they won. But who among us is ready for the likes of Caitlyn Jenner to toss her tiara into the governor's race in California? And what exactly are Miss Jenner's chances in such a high-stakes game? Our C5 panel is chomping at the bit to discuss. Can the 71-year-old Jenner sprint to the finish in her Prada pumps? Sarah, you wrote this week about the recall effort of Governor Gavin Newsom, which is now, I guess, in a 30-day waiting period, and the governor's reaction to Jenner's announcement. So it may shape up to be the story of the pretty boy versus the pretty lady in California, yes?
I think so. And I'm kind of excited about it. Not because, well, you know, I want to see Gavin Newsom go on any way, shape, or form, but I like Caitlyn Jenner. I like her policies. I like her conservatism. I just like her as a candidate, and I know it'll throw a monkey wrench into everybody in California. They won't know what to do. They can't really say anything bad because then that would make them look a little less inclusive. But again, the signatures are still coming in. They're still being verified, even though they've passed that threshold. But again, the 30-day waiting period. So who knows? Maybe they'll figure out a loophole to, strong arm some people into bailing out. But at this point, I think we're going to see a pretty fun race situating in front of our face for maybe September or October.
Jeff, do you think the pretty boy is in trouble and Caitlyn could unseat him?
You know, what I will say is that this is one of the things that I love about my home state. We always have wacky, crazy people running for governor. Just to remind you, Gary Coleman was running for governor at one point in the past. But as for Newsom, I think he might be on his way out. I think people are fed up. I predicted even late last year that this whole COVID thing, people were going to get fed up with it. They were going to revolt, peacefully, obviously, through the electoral process, and that California would lead the way. I think Newsom, his days are numbered. I don't know if it'll be Caitlyn Jenner. It's possible, and it's easy to sleep on somebody like that because she is a celebrity. But at the same time, she's been a Republican for a while. She's been involved with politics for a while, even if she hadn't run for office. So she might be taking this more seriously than it seems like. This might not just be something that she's doing for clout.
Well, Tim, you know a little something about outsiders running for office?
I do. It was 10 years ago, almost to the day, that I announced my candidacy for the United States Senate. And a lot of people have asked me, are you happy that you lost? And I don't answer the question, but that's how difficult the political process, is these days. But if there's any place that Caitlyn Jenner could succeed, California is the perfect place. As a matter of fact, I don't know that she could actually run for office anywhere but California, but I also think she could win. In the land of fruits, nuts, and flakes, Caitlyn Jenner looks kind of mainstream because she balances off the fact she's a transgender with her conservative ideas. It strikes me it's similar to Tim Scott in the sense that Caitlyn Jenner is saying things that the mainstream media can't really attack her about because she's a transgender. She's in a protected class. And Tim Scott, conservative Black Republican who gave the response to Biden's quasi State of the Union, they can't really attack him because he's genuine. So people like Caitlyn Jenner and Tim Scott put the elite biased media in a very difficult position.
Andrew, coming from your perch in Toronto, what chances do you think Ms. Jenner has?
Well, what I find interesting is that when the announcement was made, I was writing an article about Saul Alinsky, and one of his rules really makes it adaptable to the situation is that make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. So, when I heard the announcement, I thought this was a great pick to troll and own the left, because conservatives will be taking the rule out of that playbook. As Tim alluded to, if anyone criticized Caitlyn Jenner, the left would be engaging in xenophobia based on that very own playbook. You saw it this week, actually, with Ted Lieu. He was talking down to Jenner and mansplaining on Twitter, saying that she should watch the Schoolhouse Rock videos to learn about the United States Constitution. Of course, if Jenner were running as a Democrat, the media would be up in arms, demanding the resignation of whoever made these criticisms. But, is Caitlyn Jenner much of a conservative? A lot of people are saying that are making these vague allusions, but, what specific policy proposals is she talking about? And also, is this a genuine campaign or an autodidactic campaign? When I think of celebrities or, non-political people running for office, I always think of William F. Buckley when he ran for New York City mayor, and his was an autodidactic campaign to champion conservative ideas. Is she doing the same thing? Who knows? Maybe it's too early to tell. She has to be, release more white papers or policy proposals or something. Maybe she'll surprise everyone. Trump did. Sarah wrote this week that, she's Trump in a skirt. He was a typical New York liberal, a Rockefeller-esque Republican. Came in office, he championed a lot of conservative principles, and he enacted a lot of conservative ideas. And, he's probably the best conservative president since Ronald Reagan. So will she be a great conservative governor? Time will tell.
I don't know how you put in context the term mansplaining in the era of transgenders, though. I mean, how does that work?
Well, I'm confused by it, too. So they don't ask me. But, I'm assuming because, Ted Lieu man, Caitlyn Jenner's a woman, so is that the proper context to do it?
I'm not
but
sure.
Andrew, stop using big words.
All right, but Sarah, you're political in the know from way back. You think this is a real candidate, and she's got some real platforms.
I do, because I still have some liberal friends in the state of California, and they are also people who sign petitions to get rid of Newsom. And they sent me the fundraising email that the Newsom camp sent out. And they think Caitlyn Jenner is Trump in a skirt. And they are terrified. And they are begging for money to help fight this. They know that this is going to go through, even though there's still that 30-day waiting period. They know it's going to happen. There's not going to be one Democrat to step in and try to run, because that's political suicide if you're a Democrat, to run against your own idiot guy in office. It's political suicide no matter what party you're part of. So a Republican could easily get the votes and walk away with this. And nobody's talking about the other two guys. They're talking about Caitlyn Jenner. Nobody's fundraising because of the other two guys. They're fundraising because of Caitlyn Jenner. And I think Caitlyn Jenner is going to surprise everyone. The email was as panic-stricken as I've seen in a long time of fundraising emails. It was desperate.
Well, and there's also the fact that, people might not even vote for Caitlyn Jenner. They may just vote against Gavin Newsom. So that's another way that she could potentially get into office. Just say, hey, I'm not that person. I'm me. Here's some policies, but just remember, I'm not that guy. I will oppose everything that he did. And that might be all that she has to say to get elected, because I do think people are fed up. And I've seen them recall a governor before. I've seen them do this before. So, it is as crazy as it sounds. I think she has a good shot.
Following on what Jeff said, she could just pull a reverse Joe Biden. She can say, I'm not Gavin Newsom, the same way Biden said, elect me because I'm not Donald Trump. That's the only reason he got elected. So how high is the bar?
Or she could say like Joe Biden said, I can defeat Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Here's the other thing. Never underestimate the drive of an Olympic athlete. They are conditioned to be the best, rise to the top, kick ass, take names, and keep going. And as Bruce Jenner, he did. As Caitlyn Jenner, he hasn't lost that drive. He wants to win, and that is frightening to these people.
I think that's a really good point. And it's obvious, like you said, by the Newsom email that went out to the Democratic donors, that the Gov considers Ms. Jenner's candidacy a real threat. And let's face it, things have been a bit dull since Trump left the big stage. So maybe a Jenner-Newsom race will emerge to ignite some political fireworks. Thanks, panel, and stay tuned to Liberty Nation for all the fun that's sure to come. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble, we're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all our TV productions. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember to surf on over to libertynation.com. Sign up for our new member zone, just $29.99 a year. This has been a production of libertynationnews.com. Conservative news where truth matters.